And welcome to the Comic Corner, your home for comic book news, reviews, and interviews. My name is Damon. I am your host, and this evening, very strange. Usually we record very early in the day. Today, because scheduling lives, we're recording later in the day. TJ, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my friend. Almost nighttime. Like you said, it's super weird. Usually I'm just waking up and now I'm about ready to go to bed. So it's weird that we're here so late, but it is so fun. I'm always excited to talk to you, of course, and we have some great books to talk about this week as well. So it's great times over here.
Great times indeed. Here's a rundown for today. We got Far Out Martian, a very groovy, a very trippy new book in the Absolute Universe. Martian Manhunter, written by Dennis Camp, a writer which we've been loving over on the Marvel side, over on the Ultimate side. Hush Tua Electric Boogaloo. You're proud of me on that one, aren't you?
When you texted me that, I was like, what the hell is this?
Hush Tua Electric Boogaloo. Yeah. Hush is back, baby. Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee, back on this book. We will chat all about that. And we got double the ultimate, double the absolute. We're in a full head-to-head mode at this point. Maybe we'll get into a discussion on which we've been enjoying more so far. Now that several of the arcs have come to a conclusion, TJ, I want to get to know. Do you think one is better than the other? Which one are you enjoying more than the other? So, but first, let's get into the news. Let's get into the news. TJ, I don't know if you heard, Diamond got bought, baby. Diamond got bought.
Really? No, I haven't heard any news this week, so I'm excited for this segment as much as anybody else.
Yep, so Alliance Entertainment buys Diamond Comic Distributions. Very exciting over there. What does this mean, though, for you non-comic book people? Honestly, for like the day-to-day people, not so much, unless you've been one of the folks when you go into your comic shop on a Wednesday and you're like, hey, where are my books? Because they're supposed to be out today, and my shop didn't get them. Well, that's been a lot of the Diamond fault. A lot of distributions have been on the kaputs recently, and Diamond filed for Chapter 11. We've been following the story the last couple months. And a new company, well, not a new company. They've been in the game for a little bit, but on a smaller scale, they've been distributing over to like 200-ish shops nationwide, which is pretty good. So we'll be very quick on this. Alliance Entertainment buys Diamond Comic Distributors. That includes previews, TJ. I do not know, however, if that includes free comic book day. But I assume somebody, if they didn't, somebody will pick that up because that's a huge day in the industry.
I would say it's coming up quick, so they're gonna have to figure that out really fast.
Yeah, no, absolutely, they have to. But let's get into our books of the week. I was thrown up in the air. It's pretty rare. I'm like, dude, what are we going to talk about first? Because usually it's pretty decided what we're going to talk about first. But I'm picking this one, TJ. I'm picking this one.
Got to start off the gate hot, man.
You got to start with a number one, baby, because as we say on the show, number ones sell. And they do sell. This is Absolute Martian Manhunter, written by Dennis Camp, artist Javi Rodriguez, letter Hassan Osman Elau. You may remember Dennis Camp, like I mentioned earlier, from the Ultimates series from Marvel, which we've been loving, and artist Javi Rodriguez, who just did the art on Zatanna's miniseries before she just got her current series going on. I want to hear your thoughts first on this, TJ. I do, because we went into this, and I said specifically, I think this is going to be the ultimate X-Men of the Absolute Universe. And what I mean by that is, if you're going in expecting classic Martian Manhunter, that is not what this book is going to be. And that's not what this book is. If you are along for the ride, however, I think you're going to have a great time. So, TJ, are you on this Hawaiian roller coaster ride? Or are you just like, get me off this train?
Dude, I am so in on this ride. I don't think I could be more front seat to any ride. And also, I just want to say, I was tweeting out the link to the episode. So the past like 3 minutes, I wasn't not paying attention. I was just trying to let the people know we're here. But dude, like this was probably the book I've been most excited about for like the past month, 2 months. I love Denise Camp. I think what he's doing on Ultimates is absolutely incredible. And this did not disappoint, at least for me. Like you said, I am just firmly cemented into this ride. Also, I love weird, like just like weird shit. And like that's the best way I can describe this in the best way possible. And I really love it. I love the art. I love the way that Denise is playing with like we are John. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we don't know what's going on just as much as the character does, and just
Yeah.
the way that the art translates into that, it's awesome. It's probably my favorite of the Absolute so far. Like you, well like I will.
Whoa.
I will preface this for the how massively different it is. Like I wouldn't necessarily say it's like the best. I mean, maybe personally, but the best of the Absolute line. But again, to me, it's like I'm reading Absolute Batman. While it is very different, it still is Batman. When I'm reading Absolute Superman, it is very different, but it still is Superman. This is just completely off into left field, which I love about it, and I think makes it the most interesting. So maybe I'll take back the like best because that's a high bar to hit, but definitely the most interesting, I would say.
Would you say this is your favorite first issue of the bunch between Flash,
Yeah,
Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman? Really?
absolutely. I think so.
Fantastic.
Like I said, I
Okay.
am a big fan of the weird and just like
Oh yeah, I know
throwing
you are.
us into the adventure, right?
Mhm.
So I really liked that. You feel like a fish out of water. Again, like the main character. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean 10 out of 10 over here. And he's not even the Martian Manhunter, technically. I don't know if we want to get into the kind of I guess maybe it's just a
We'll
reveal to me
we'll,
because
we'll
I love
mention
it,
it
but
at the end. We'll mention it at the end, but there's a few things I really love about this book. I wouldn't say this is my favorite. This is on the border, I will say, of too far left field to me being right on it. Like we're straddling that line because
I
this
see. I could
issue.
see a lot of people like going either way,
Oh,
and
for
I wouldn't
sure.
knock them for that at all.
Oh, for sure. But for a first issue, I love the swing. I respect the swing. I am on for this ride. We'll see for how long, but we are on for this ride. And I will also say before I forget, this was supposed to originally be a 6-issue miniseries. Already just got pushed to a 12 after one issue.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. And I just saw too that Denise said that it is possible for it to go past 12,
Oh
like
yeah.
if sales continue to go. But
Hmm.
he also did say that they do have a very specific vision for how they want the story to go. So if that means past 12 issues, great. But if like they basically if like they have to try and come up with more story, they're probably not going to do it. Like they
Good.
have a set plan, which again,
Yes.
I agree. Good. I execute the vision. Sometimes we don't need 50 million issues. You know what I mean? Sometimes a story
Yeah.
does better with a beginning, middle, and definitive end. But I mean, Denise has my trust in basically everything that he does. Javier Rodriguez, the art, again, ever since Zatanna, I am on board with whatever he does. So this is a smash hit for me. Better than Absolute Flash for sure. I'll say that.
Ooh.
A
I
hundred percent.
figured. I figured for you at
Mhm.
least.
I think maybe Absolute Superman #1, maybe my favorite #1. Like now that we're talking about it, I'm thinking about it. But I mean, I agree with what you're saying. It's such a big swing. I think that's
Yes.
what makes me gravitate towards it so much.
So for those who don't know, this is John, not our typical John from Martian Manhunter. This is a much different John. However, this John is an agent. He's an intelligence agency. He's going around. He's being a secret agent, a CIA agent. That's what I'm trying to think about in my brain. And this issue starts off as he just came back from an explosion. The building he was in went boom. And since then, everything's been a little foggy, a little hazy, a
Yeah, a
little
little bit.
smoky. a little smoky, if you will. And he's starting to hearing some things in his head. And long story short, this is not your typical Martian Manhunter story. This is a guy who now has a voice in his head. And he's always been seen also as an alien-like figure amongst his peers, amongst his own family, for being cold, for being distant, for just not being able to understand this guy. And I love that idea. I think that idea is fascinating. This issue is interesting. I'm along for the ride. I love the swing it does. But there is one thing in this issue that I love more than anything else, TJ. And you picked this issue up physically, correct?
Yes. Oh, are you
This
talking about
comic
the
book,
back?
yes,
The back
this
page?
comic book does
Yes.
something that felt so youthful, so scholastically fun, where you hold up it's so comic booky. You'll hold up the last page to a light, the sun, whatever. And the back page bleeds through the all white page, and you see the Martian go through John's head, and it's so clever. It put a youthful smile on my face. It is the beauty and glow that is comic books, TJ, and I love that about this. So am I going to be on for the ride for this one? Yeah, I've been pulling all the Absolute books, been pulling all the Ultimate books. I'm not planning on stopping anytime soon. I was looking forward to that. This was going to be a mini series, honestly. So hearing it got extended to a 12 is both exciting and also like, okay, for the pull list factor of it, where it's like, all right, I was planning on this being a
You don't gotta tell me.
shorter commitment. It's now a longer commitment. So that is what it is. But I really like this issue. Would you say this was your favorite issue of the week?
I'm trying to even remember what else. I don't know, man. There were so many
today, man.
There were so many bangers. There were so many bangers this
so
week. That's hard.
Mhm.
It's hard to pick, honestly.
Okay.
It's
Let me
up
go
there.
into-
I would say it's up there.
Let me go into my pick of the week. And it's this
Another
book right
amazing
here.
book. Dude,
It is
another
this book
amazing
right
one.
here. Absolute
So good.
Wonder Woman, written by Kelly Thompson. Art from Mattia de Luis. Mattia making his DC Wonder Woman, specifically Wonder Woman debut. These two have paired up previously in the past, where there's Kelly and Mattia on Jessica Jones, Kelly and Mattia on Nicole, now Kelly and Mattia on Absolute Wonder Woman. Do not fret for the Hayden fans. Mattia is here for just 2 issues. So if you're missing Hayden's art, back in 2 issues. And letter Becca Carey. I love this issue. I think this may be my favorite issue of Absolute Wonder Woman.
I think I might agree with you.
This issue is an incredible, beautiful blend. And this is when Wonder Woman's great. One of the many times Wonder Woman's great. This is a beautiful blend of the Greek mythology and witchcraft. You throw that witchcraft in there specifically for the Absolute side of things, because that's what this Diana is. She is a witch, and that's very cool. But you throw in the Greek mythology part, because we get to learn the story that is this new lasso and how twisted it is. And TJ, what part of Greek mythology do we go to? Do we dive in for this?
Greek?
It's Greek.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is that what you're asking? Like,
yes,
yeah, Greek, baby, Greek.
Right, so
That's
what part of
I
it? I was teeing you up. Teeing you up into it.
Greek, baby, Zeus, Hades, Prometheus.
There you go.
I love it, dude. I love it. Like you said, I agree. I think this is my favorite issue of Wonder Woman 2. You know, I'm a sucker for the mythology, so that was just right up my alley.
It's the story of Diana climbing up the mountain to see Prometheus. And I'm like, oh wow, we're going to Prometheus. Well, first of all, the last issue literally had Diana getting sucked into hell, and Hades is kind of there as her like uncle type figure to be like, girl, you can't just do that. Like he's being like that cool Hades. He's even all blue, he's got that cool, like,
I was just gonna say,
you
I love the
can't do that.
design of
Yeah.
Hades and super cool.
You can't do that. Like, girl, what are you doing? And then he's like, what is this thing? Tell me about this. Tell me about this. So this issue is her telling the story of how she got this lasso, and she goes to Prometheus and chops off some of a bit of its finger for the blood of it all. The eagle even comes by. She's like, "Hey," and I'm like, we're going full into
Yeah,
this
she's
whole
like best friends with
story."
the eagle. That was that was. I love this book, dude. It's so good.
And Hades looking, he's like, "That's not all. There's more to than just his blood and the fire of it all. There's more to this." And she's like, "Yeah, you're right, because I killed the last basilisk." And that's where the little chaotic parts come. And she blinded herself. She made it so she couldn't smell, and she had to kill the basilisk blind and incapable of smelling too, essentially removing almost all of her senses to kill that thing. This Diana's so cool, man. I loved this issue. This was a 10 out of 10 issue for me.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, you're way more in tune with the Wonder Woman stuff than I am. But
I'm really not, though.
well,
That's the thing. Yeah.
I mean more than me though. But
Yeah, I think we're about the same.
oh, maybe we should do a whole Wonder Woman reread. That
We
would be
get
fun.
like a 1 out of 10.
But my favorite Wonder Woman stories have always been, like you said, where they deal heavily with like the mythology side of it, like the Zeus, the Hades, Circe, all that. So again, this was just like right up my alley. This is where I really love to be when we're dealing with Wonder Woman. Like you also said, with the added addition to the magic and all that. It 10 million out of 10 million. I loved it. And Mattia de Luis, so good. I mean, the art is incredible. I love the regular art, but I really think that the art style in this really works for like this new arc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like we're kind of it again doesn't take anything away. So once we get back to like our kind of main driving plot, we get back to the regular art style. But yeah, I mean, there's just we could literally just make this whole episode about this issue because it was really that good.
We've interviewed Kelly Thompson many, many times here on this channel. Go check it out, guys.
Not we, not you. I need to be on the next one because we need to talk about that freaking sword and the bag of magic, dude.
So one thing I will constantly give Kelly credit for is she's very smart and very clever when she knows she brings in a new artist for an arc, that it makes sense for the story. And it's not just, okay, we bring in a new artist, hopefully they kind of replicate that art, because that's not what Mattia does. He does that very realistic painting. So this is essentially like the look of it all in Hades itself, like in Hades' throne room. So it makes sense for that story. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Go check this out, guys. This may be my favorite issue of the, not maybe, this is my favorite issue of the bunch. And I've loved every issue of this series so far too. I've loved every issue of the series so far. And I very rarely give 10 out of 10s. This is to me a 10 out of 10 comic book. A book that does get a lot of 10 out of 10s for me though. A book that does get a lot of 10 out of 10s. This is Ultimate Spider-Man. This is written by Jonathan Hickman. Art from David Messina. Colors to Matt Wilson. And letter Corey Pettit. It was actually surprising to me when I was making this slide, TJ, that it was not Marco Cicchetto, because, as previously mentioned in our last book, Kelly does a really good job, or just artists either do a good job about bringing in a new artist, and whether they do their own thing or they replicate the style of the main artist on the book. And David's ability to seamlessly keep the designs accurate and the look and everything well from Marco Cicchetto to David is outstanding. And obviously it helps when you have the same colorist. Huge help there. But the styles of the faces, the hair, especially with Mary Jane that Marco does, and be able to replicate that in his own way, excellent, excellent, excellent. Story-wise, this picks up after we learn about the death of Harry Osborn, seems like he may be dead, or they're just playing along with it.
Dude, I don't mean to cut you off, but just very quickly, I was rereading those issues just yesterday. Harry's freaking dead, dude. He got shot in the head. I forgot that he was like bullet in the freaking middle of his head.
However, as we've talked about too, who's standing right behind him when that whole thing happens? It's Mysterio. Mysterio could have done that to make it. Mysterio could have easily faked this to make it so Kraven isn't going after both of them anymore, because
he did say that he had plans for Kraven.
Yeah, he did. So there's a good chance here that Harry's not actually dead and we're faking the death of Harry Osborn. Very possible. But I'll play along. Harry's dead. Gwen is kind of MIA, hiding too. They're all on the run. Peter's on the run. His whole family's on the run. And we got the Spider Boys teaming up in this issue because we're out in the middle of the Grand Canyon. The family hears about some weird disturbances going on in the Grand Canyon in the desert area. And Peter and Richard go out and investigate. Peter in a now homemade Spider-Man suit. Love that. And Richard still donning the symbiotic black suits that has the voice attached. The voice of, however, Peter Parker. It is his own voice, so I love that added effect on there. But it does create that very smartly written dynamic. And before all this happens, by the way, Richard is still going back and forth with Felicia. I love that dynamic there. Super fun. But they go out and they investigate what's going on in the desert, and we meet our Ultimate Sandman. Hijinks ensue. The suit kind of figures out how to defeat this Ultimate Sandman. Ultimate Sandman is like, yeah, this is what happened to me. And then they go back. Meanwhile, yeah, pretty standard kind of like, and the problem was solved, but it was a nice little father-son team-up moment that we haven't really seen yet in this book, which has been great. Meanwhile, back in New York City at the paper, J. Jonah Jameson and Uncle Ben, who run the paper, get into a little bit of a run-in with, guess who? Kingpin and his merry men. They're knocking on his door and they're saying, yeah, we're releasing. Kingpin, by the way, is the current owner of the Daily Bugle. And they're saying, hey, so we're running a little story about you tomorrow, by the way. We just wanted to see if you have a quote for us while we run the story. And they say, oh, what's the story? Yeah, every guy named Ben Reilly is dead. Everywhere. In the whole world. And why would they do that? It's because they've been writing under the secret pen name Ben Reilly for the paper this entire time. Another great way to add some Spider-Man lore, just kind of slip it in there. Very well done. And they say, hey, what's your statement on this? And they're like, yeah, our statement is we're going to be there to the very end. And Uncle Ben specifically says one of the coldest lines, and I'll be the one to write your obituary.
Oh. Uncle Ben don't play around, dude. It's the first time he's been alive in like 80 years. He's going to take advantage of it.
I love this Uncle Ben. TJ. Class issue once again. You know, some light stuff with the Spider family, like kind of going on, but the good ending. Yes.
Yeah, good issue, kind of, you know, middle of the road, fun Spider adventure. Great ending. Totally leaves us off on a not cliffhanger, but kind of a gut punch. And like we talked about, next issue is Mysterio, which I think is gonna kind of move our plot forward a decent amount. Like I said, Mysterio's obviously playing his own game within the Sinister Six, so I think we're gonna find out if Harry is dead or alive. But I will say one thing though, because I'm the guy, I always love everything. I'm like the easy critic, right? So I will have a little criticism for this issue. Not necessarily criticism, but I don't know if I'm, at least right now, like totally in love with the Richard Parker also being Spider-Man. And I don't get me wrong, I like the team up and like the father-son things, but I don't know, it just like feels like to me one of the big parts of this Spider-Man was that he is an adult trying to learn these powers and stuff, but now it just feels like he's mentoring somebody else You get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's like you're still learning too, dude, right?
But I think that's part of the charm.
I
And
don't
especially with
disagree
him
there.
being a dad, this
I
is
don't
how we get
disagree.
that parental story involved.
I,
I know there's
it
a
just
lot of
feels a
dads reading
little
this.
like oh, we need to get this kid in the suit right away. You know what I mean? Like, I don't hate the concept. I just feel like we kind of got there really quickly. But again, that's not saying like I don't like it. That's one, when I was reading the issue, that was one kind of thing that I was like, I'm not in love with that, but it's not enough to like, oh, I hate this Richard kid.
I really do like it. More because I'm fascinated. One of them's gonna die. Who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be Richard? Is Richard gonna be his Gwen moment, if you will?
Dude,
Because
that would
Aunt
be
May was kind of his Uncle Ben movie
crazy.
moment. But it's one of them's gonna
Was
die,
she though? Was she
or
though?
kinda.
I
Or
mean,
we did just have Harry dead too. So
well,
maybe that
not
was
only that,
technically
but I mean, we don't really
Harry
know
dead as
much
opposed
about his relationship with May. Like, obviously, he's very close.
to.
He's close with Ben, but was that as big of a hit as it is in the main
No.
616? I don't know. I don't know. Am
It
I
it
crazy?
definitely
I don't know.
seemed like it was a big hit. It wasn't like a small hit. It was definitely written very early on.
He's like,
It's been
man,
over a
screw my
year.
aunt.
Well, I will also disagree and say that I don't think it's too quick. Like we're now 15 months into this story.
I guess
Well
that
over
is
a year.
true. That
If
is,
this happens like issue 4, I would have totally agreed. But
yeah.
we had a whole year of just
That's true.
pure being
15 months. I
Spider-Man.
forget that this is a month by month. But hey, I got
Yeah.
to come with a little criticism sometimes. I
Oh no,
got
I
to
get it.
stir the
And
pot.
I get it. And one of the things, the last thing I'll say on this book is I still love the fact that each issue takes place in a moment of time
Hmm.
within the month that you're reading it. So time passes, a month, 30 days passes between issues. They've been on the run for over a month at this point. All around the US, they've been, or technically not the US, the North American, whatever
North
it is,
American
Union.
Union.
Yeah. So they've been on the run. And I think that's really interesting that it's like, I love that time passes in between.
Hmm. I feel like too, we also got a little glimpse of Fisk working a little higher within the council as well. We get a little
Oh,
maker
yeah.
allude here, which
A
we
little
don't
bit.
have to spend time on. We got to move on, but just wanted to say
A
that
little
real
bit.
quick.
This book's pretty quick. Not a lot of words in this book, especially when the
Doesn't
main
need it.
character doesn't talk. This is Ultimate Wolverine number 3, written by Chris Condon, artist Alessandro Capuccio, colorist Brian Valenza, and letterer Corey Petit. This may be my favorite issue of this series. They're bangers all week. I
It was
love
hard
this
to
issue.
even pick a list this week because
Oh my
everything
God.
was so good.
So hard, very difficult to kind of boil these down. We get our first look at Ultimate Gambit, at Ultimate Kitty Pryde. By the way, Gambit fans, Rogue fans, look away. Rogue Gambit couple fans, shippers, look away, because Kitty and Gambit in this universe are a thing. So that's fun, and they team up with. I was not expecting this at all. I mean, it makes sense for the world that we're in, but I never thought we'd get this in a Wolverine book specifically. We get our first look at Ultimate Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, who is
I was
joining
excited
this
by that.
joining this little group of rebels of Gambits and Kitty Pryde, and they're still using Wolverine as their Winter Soldier, and they're trying, this Russian Soviets powers are going after these two, and they throw Wolverine at them. And do not forget that Logan is also, he was Logan. Like, he was a part of this team originally. They grabbed him, they wiped his memory out, and then he became the Winter Soldier. So do not forget any of that, because that's very important. This isn't like no one knew this guy was, and they had him for years. And they go after him. Kitty kind of slow, like after a big back and forth, and you think Logan's about to kill Kitty, but she can face her things, so that makes sense. Zaps his head for a little bit because she could do that. Brings a little bit of his memories back, a little bit, just for him to groan. Make some noise, not a word, but just some noise. TJ, what'd you think about this issue?
Again, 10 out of 10 issue. This series, I honestly, I could take this whole series and nobody speaks a single word. It could just be the art do the talking, and I love that about it. I think it's just, we talk about it all the time. It's a pure hoot and holler type of book. High action, nonstop. Winter Soldier slash Wolverine doing crazy cool stuff pretty much every panel. I mean, I really don't know what somebody could want, like what else somebody could want from a Wolverine as the Winter Soldier book. Like this just checks all of. If you told me that concept without like having the book, this is exactly what I would have imagined in my mind. Like it flows perfectly. And I gave a little cheer when I saw Black Widow, because I did a piece like a couple months ago about like, oh, characters people want to see in the Ultimates, and I felt like Black Widow was kind of a swing, like kind of a stretch when I wrote it. But now I feel very vindicated that she showed up, and I'm excited. I hope that means that we're gonna get a little bit more into the espionage kind of corner of the world, which I feel like we haven't really touched on yet. So I mean, everything about this book is exciting. It's exciting to read. It's exciting to think of where we're gonna go next. Love it. 10 out of 10.
One thing of note in this side of the world, this group of rebels, these rogues, if you will, did kill Mikhail Rasputin, the brother, the oldest brother of the Rasputins. So he's dead. He's long gone. We don't have to worry about him trying to give some gross, disgusting virus
I
to
would say, is he bad
Ilyana.
news? Is he a bad news bears? I know you're in
Yeah,
the
he's not
Magic
he's not a good
10,000
guy,
issue
man.
reread, so I had no idea who that was when they mentioned him. Obviously, I put together that it was, their brother, but
not a good guy. He's actually the reason why Ilyana technically died the first time.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, gave her a big bad legacy virus, and it just didn't bode well.
We also got mention of Archangel in here too,
Yes,
which kind of make me think: is there a little X Factor team running around somewhere?
It is funny, and we do enjoy Ultimate X-Men. We do enjoy it, but it's like this is like where like the Claremont crew kind of is, and he's floating around these books, the Ultimate Wolverine book in the Soviet land. I just find that a little funny, but I've been enjoying it. So far 3 out of 3 issues for me of this have been excellent. I've been digging it. We alluded to it. It's in our title card. Hush Tua, Electric Boogaloo. Written by Jeff Lowe. Pencils Jim Lee. Anchor Scott Williams. Colors Alex Sinclair. And letter Richard Starkings. TJ, have you ever read Hush?
I've read Hush, but I have no idea anything about Hush 2. So please take the stage.
Ooh. Well, Hush is back.
Yay! Cue the stock. Yay, kids cheering.
Let me at least set this up a little bit. It starts out very classic. Look, Hush, the original. I was talking about it in the comic shop yesterday because this was one of the big talking points of the comic shop. We brought up Hush and all our thoughts on Hush. And one of our fellow compatriots, shout out Mike Carano for pointing this out. Original Batman Hush is Batman's soul food, good feel food. It's like, it's the meat potatoes, you feel good. It's easy eating, it's fan service, it's all the above. And it is. Batman Hush absolutely is. So we start out with a classic Batman Joker trope. Joker jokerized some piranhas and threw them in a lake. Batman's got to go deal with it. But when Batman's like, okay, they're starting to bite at me and I'm in the water and they're about to take off the cowl, but my bodysuit's going to shock them just like they did in the original series. It's going to shock the fish, but it also shocked him. He's like, oh, these fish bit me in a spot that they shouldn't have known because they're fish. And we start to, go down that rabbit hole.
What spot are we talking about here?
Essentially, it was just something happened that only Hush would
Bit
know.
him in
'Cause
the ass.
that's the thing about Hush, is he's like the one guy who knows who Batman is, technically. But he's like one of the guys who knows who Batman is, so only he can get away with some of the things, like breaking into the Batcave, sending him on a little bit of a goose chase to find the Joker, who's up against a pinwheel wall, and the Joker's about to die because Hush kind of just lightly stabbed him in some light arteries. So he's not dead yet, but eventually he will. So Batman has to do the whole, this is my chance. It wouldn't be me. Technically, I didn't do it. But that's not who Batman is. And that's the whole internet discussion right now. I know. If we want to get the comments going, if we really want to get comments going, I could just say, hey, what do you think? Should Batman kill or not? Go crazy. On that note, this is a fine first issue. It's literally, like I said, what happens in this issue? Hush is back.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. I mean,
Talia
Jim Lee
shows up.
I say you got Jim Lee on, the main art. That's never a bad thing. So
Yeah, Talia shows up, actually saves Bruce for a little bit, revives him for a little bit. Very similar, like we're already like in a surviving, as Huntress had to save Bruce in the original one. Here comes Talia to save Bruce in this one. We go back to Oracle. Things are going weird with Babs and Batgirl with the technology, and just like, oh, things are getting jammed, and Dick's there too, so that's nice. Nightwing is there with them. They're hanging out, so neat little continuity there. But it's fine. It's a first issue. Like, I'll pick up the next one because I would just kind of want to see where we're going with this.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't blow me away. This is nowhere near the best book of the week. We had so many
no
incredible...
Absolute Wonder Woman?
No, respectfully, no. But it's really cool to see Jim Lee back doing this book. Jeff Loeb gets Batman. But, like, Jim Lee, the art, dude still got it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd pick it up just for that, honestly.
He still got it. So there you go. Batman 2, Hush 2,
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo. We cooking. I threw this at you. Did you read any of this?
I did.
Great. What was your favorite? This is Hello Darkness, written and drawn by a bunch of people from Boom Studios. This is one of my favorite Boom Studios titles because I love my horror books. And I just want to shout out before we get into the actual book. At the very end, very exciting. There is more to come after issue 12. There's more to come after issue 12. This is not ending just yet, and I love that. So this is Hello Darkness number 9. What was your favorite story in here? Because this isn't a horror anthology.
Honestly, there was a lot. This is probably my favorite one that we've read in a while. I'd not take saying anything bad about the other ones.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed almost all the stories in this one. I think my favorite was the teacher one, like the classroom one. Just to me, that one was the most like twisted. Like, oh man, that's freaking gnarly. So yeah, that's my favorite.
Did you see who did that one? No, it all makes sense because I know you. Me. You are a bunhead, and it was Colin Bunn.
Oh, that was Bunn?
Yeah.
Dude, we're in the Bunn business, baby. Oh, I love that. I had no idea. That makes sense, though.
One that has been an ongoing favorite of mine whenever she does one of these stories is Sarah Anderson. She did The Witch in here, and it was very like heart under the floorboard type of story where a witch in town was burned at the stake, and this young girl never really liked this old woman witch, and her dad was the one who declared her a witch, and she burned at the stake. But this young girl's like, I feel like I'm still being watched. I feel like I'm still being watched. And it's weird because they say that everything was burned of this woman except one thing, and she looks under her bed and there's an eye, and she says, oh, there it is again. I keep trying to get away with this, but it keeps coming back. I like stories like that. It's a classic Edgar Allan Poe trope, if you will, a return to the creepiness of the things that'll never go away. But I'm a sucker for it. And I like it. I like how the art also is very not traditional horror. It's very simple. It was colorful, and then it gets creepy really, really quick. But yeah, Hello Darkness, guys, go check it out. I've really enjoyed.
The Demon Kid was really good too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so that's going to be an ongoing. That's going to be a series coming out. That was a tease. Yes.
Oh, really? That's a
Yes.
series. Okay.
Yes,
I
that's a
saw it said
tease.
to be continued, which I just figured would be in
Yes.
another Hello Darkness, but that's interesting.
That's a tease to a new series from Boom Studios, and we will absolutely be reviewing it when that comes out. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, Boom Studios. Like I've been loving this. I've been loving Hello Darkness. And another book from Boom Studios I've been loving. I threw this at you real quick, like real recently.
Mhm.
I don't know if
Yeah,
you're able
I
to check it
checked
out.
it out.
Oh, heck yes. This
Dude,
is right
I'm
before
on it,
Black.
man.
He's
I'm
on it
on
today.
it.
It's amazing when it's not like 7 in the morning when we have these shows for you.
Hey, I got some time.
This is Red Before Black, number 5, written by Stephanie Phillips, art from Goran Suzuka, colorist Eve Savorchina, and letterer Tom Napolitano. This is kind of like the conclusion to the first arc in a way.
Mhm.
So we got our two gals. They're in a little bit of a pickle. And we got a little bit of weirdness going on with Val, who's the war veteran, and she can kind of summon this jungle place. We don't really know if it's like real or in her head, although in previous issues it seemed real because she was able to bring some people around her into there and they could see it. But it's interesting. We get more backstory on this Val character and more of like the tragic shit character she is, where she was, a poor girl, went into the military to try to do some good, tried to do some good, but things went haywire, and the people she promised she would protect died anyway. And because of that, she went down into a spiral. So a tragic story. And then meanwhile, back in the current time, they both escape little situations that they were in, and they're off doing their little Harley and Ivy type of characters, going off to their next book and teasing of a fortune teller. So a woman who could talk to the dead and a fortune teller. Seems like they're going to be going that way next. TJ, what'd you think about this issue? And maybe I believe this first volume of the series.
I mean, I really enjoyed it. I'm definitely either forgot or behind on a couple issues, but you know me, I go with the flow.
Mhm.
And something I really enjoyed about this issue in particular, and especially like kind of being thrown into the adventure, was I thought the pacing of this was really great. Like
Yes.
from the beginning to the end, with dealing with the flashbacks and also where we're at in the currently in the story. I thought that was like expertly done.
Mhm.
And I mean, yeah, I'm not like as what's the word? I don't want to say familiar because we've both been reading it, but again, I'm behind obviously on a couple issues, but I think that goes to show uh the strength of this issue was that it was able to keep me engaged and even make me excited for what's coming next. So
Absolutely.
yeah, thumbs up for me on this one. And it again made me excited to go back. I want to say I'm like 2 issues behind. Almost swear we read the first 3, but I must have missed 4 somewhere, or maybe 3 and 4.
I think you read the first 2 and then you forgot 3 because
Yeah.
4, because I remember this conversation. I do remember this conversation. I think there was like a delay or so with this
Mhm.
title.
I
I'm
remember them
One Piece
stealing
was.
that some
The
kind of creature.
gator. Oh,
Yeah,
it was a little
gator.
baby gator. I need the gator to return. I do need the gator to return. But it's a fun book. Guys,
Mhm.
if you are fans of Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, if you like that dynamic, this book is for you. You got one who's a little bit more straight edge, former military, and the other who's like the total wild card, who you think is a damsel in distress in some situations. And then Val goes to try to save her, and the guy's pretty much dead. And it's like, oh yeah, I don't know why I was worried about her. Like, it's one of those fun dynamics. So if you like that, go check it out. I really enjoy it, and Stephanie Phillips is killing it
I would
on
say
this.
Stephanie Phillips is such a strong writer too.
Mm,
Like, I mean, you could pick this book up just on her name alone.
absolutely. And the art from Goran, great. What I've been liking about these books, specifically Boom Studios titles, are very good with this, where they will pair the writer and artist together. And even if it means that there's like a little bit of delay between arcs, it'll always be those two. And I love that because it adds that extra layer of consistency. Super Guy.
Yes, sir.
You sent this one to me. We got a Kickstarter book here.
Yes.
We got a actual pure what is indie comics at its indie core, written by Anthony Iannaccio, in art and letters from Joey Murphy.
Yes, this is
TJ.
friends of the show from over at Comics and Chronic. Me and Anthony have been buddies for a long time, so he was gracious enough to send us a advanced copy of his book Superguy. And we just talked about this with one of the other books talked about today, but this is just pure comic book fun, like in every sense of the word. It's fun, it's funny. I really thought that a lot of the I mean, we've all read books like this before that are like spoofs on like a
Oh, for sure.
superhero and
Yeah.
all that. But I really thought that a lot of the like villains and stuff were really creative. Like one in particular I think of is the Late Night, KNIGHT, and it's a late night show host who was turned into like a mutant bat. Like just very creative stuff like that, and I really enjoyed this book. And also for an indie book, no shade to any of our indie homies out there, the art was awesome. Like shout out Joey
Oh, yeah.
Murphy. I really enjoyed the art. Very clean, very crisp. I really urge everyone out there, go, it's on Kickstarter right now, so go check it out, go support it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. Go support your indie comic creators. We're going to be interviewing and talking to some more indie comic creators down the road. Absolutely. We love talking to them. And that's kind of where we started, honestly, was talking
Yeah.
to some indie comic creators like Adam Barnhart, who has done his own indie comics as well. This is a fun book. It's silly. It's goofy. Like you mentioned some of the villains that were kind of thrown here in a big splash page. There's one I will not say full name out loud, but he's a Santa Claus figure. And
that's what I mean. It was like creative. Like I would never
was like,
thought
okay.
that, but that was hilarious.
Like, yeah, that's you got a good chuckle out of me there. But yeah, it's a spoof on superheroes and us looking up to them and who they may really be and who's the real heroes in our lives and what happens if those people finally reach a tipping point. It's fun. The art in here, I will say, yeah, Joey Murphy's art, super fun, super great. It's very comic booky. It's classic comic book. It's goofy. It's fun. I think I said fun
fits
5
the
times.
vibe.
That's what it
the
is.
Story.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go, Super Guy. Go check that out on Kickstarter.
Oh, we got Absolute Lantern next week. Gosh,
that's next week, man. That's next
dang
week.
it, man.
I know.
The weeks and months are just flying by.
They are. They really are. We had so many books this week. There's a few that I was going to put on here. Superman, very cool issue, pretty important issue in a way. Dude, Doom Division. My Agents of Atlas are back, baby. That's literally the whole reason I pulled that. I got to see Arrow and Wave in a comic book in the year 2025 again. Made me smile. All right, next week. Let's talk about next week. Yes, Absolute Green Lantern is out. Absolute Batman is out. Birds of Prey number 20. I'm going to try to catch everyone up back on Birds of Prey. I haven't talked about it here on the show in a while, but I have been reading it off show, and I still love this book. Ultimate X-Men number 14. That's back. And Daredevil, A Cold Day in Hell. The Dark Knight Saga of Daredevil, it shall be said. We'll be talking about that for sure. TJ, hit me. What you got?
Honestly, not a crazy list, thankfully, for this next week. And I also have to add that Daredevil to my list because I cannot miss out on that. But I mean, usually, same as always, we usually have almost the same exact list. Same goes for this week, but ones that I do have that you do not. Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, number 7. I'm still loving Moon Knight. Like I feel like I haven't seen anybody talk about it recently, but I'll say it is just as good as it's always been. I think like there has not been really a slow point for me in the series, which I think is incredible to say for a series that's been going for like 3 years at this point.
And just to remind me, is this Moon Knight still not Mark Spector?
No,
or
Mark.
back
So
we are back to Mark Spector. Okay.
after the events of Blood
It's been
Hunt,
a while.
yeah, it's
Yes.
been a while. After Blood Hunt, what's it called? Mark was resurrected because they freed Khonshu from Asgard. So yeah, Mark's back. There's like it's this whole thing where they're getting framed for selling drugs. Like there's this new drug in the city. But yeah, I mean, this is not the review time. So Moon Knight and then Immortal Thor number 22, which we are getting into some big brain stuff over on Immortal Thor. So I'm excited to check that out and see where this whole grand tapestry of storytelling Al Ewing is taking us on.
I'm disappointed in this week, TJ. I'm disappointed in you.
In me?
Yeah. You
Why?
know why?
Tell me.
There's one book that came out this week we didn't talk about. I was sure you were going to bring it up. How dare you not bring up the Harley Quinn fart book?
Oh, this week was the fart issue? I didn't know. I would have for sure picked that up, though, if I would have known.
I'm sure your shop was maybe one of those that was just like, we're not ordering this.
Nah, my shop would have ordered it for sure.
You know what's funny? Because so those issues are scratch and sniff, but you don't really need to scratch to be able to sniff them because they're that pungent.
Did you sniff one?
I didn't really necessarily have to. Well, I can't say that because my shop thankfully bagged and boarded all of them. Or at least bagged them so they wouldn't reek up this. I don't want to say I could still smell it.
Oh man,
but
that's rank.
You can. There was a part where it's like,
Honestly, I love it. I love it for the gag. But if we can be like completely transparent and honest here, imagine that if in one of your long boxes and like what it would do to your other books. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, I don't think they really thought that through too much.
It's an April. It should have came out next week. It's an April Fool's issue, and the next week the books are coming out on April 2nd. So it should have. There's also a thing that I do whenever we get previews. I don't think our good friends here at the Agents of Fandom would ever allow me to air this. But do you get like the big chunky previews from previews?
Oh, no, I don't. I know what you're talking about, though.
Okay, so everything is in there, whether it's Marvel, DC, Boom, Image, everything is in there. And manga's in there. Yeah, manga's in there too. My favorite thing is to find the wildest manga titles in that. And I will just say this. This month's previews had not just 2 pages, not just 3 pages, not just 4 pages. I was going on this bit for this month's previews for 15 pages of wild manga titles. I will not be doing this bit here on the pod because we would get demonetized. But it was wild.
Those crazy previews, man.
Never change. Never change previews. All right, that'll do it for this issue of the Comic Corner. Thank you, as always, for tuning in, for checking us out. Let us know if you made it this far. If you made it this far, first of all, thank you. If you made it this far, let us know what comics you want us to talk about next issue, next week, because we have some options. We have a lot of options. Let us know what you want. Let us know what you want. As always, again, go find and check out your local comic shop. Go to comicshoplocator.com to find the closest one near you. And until next time, TJ.